You Are Mine by Max Lucado, illustrations by Sergio Martinez. Punchinello lived in Wemmicksville. Just like other Wemmicks, he was made of wood. Just like the other Wemmicks, he was carved by Eli, the Wemmick maker. And just like the other Wemmicks, he sometimes did silly things, like the time he began collecting boxes and balls. Things started getting crazy when a Wemmick named Tuck bought a new box. Others had boxes, but Tuck's was a new box. Tuck loved his new box. He thought it was the best box in the village. It was brightly colored and he was proud of it. Too proud, perhaps. He strutted up and down the street showing off his box. "Have you seen my new box?" he would ask the Wemmicks he passed on the street. "Would you like to touch my new box?" Tuck marched right up to Punchinello. "Don't you wish you had a new box?" he teased. Punchinello thought Tuck's box was beautiful, and he began to wish for a box of his own. Tuck kept showing off his box, thinking he was better than the other Wemmicks just because he had a new box. Nip, another Wemmick, disagreed. "My box is just as good as Tuck's," he said, as he showed off his box to Wemmicks on the other side of the street. Nip's box was not new, but it was a bit bigger and a bit brighter and a bit more than Tuck could take. Tuck got very quiet and gave Nip a mad look. Then he had an idea. He stepped into a store and bought a ball. Now he had more things than Nip. He had a box and a ball. Nip frowned at Tuck's ball. Nip could do better than that. He bought 2 balls. With a smile on his face, 2 balls and a box in his hands, he marched over to Tuck and smirked. "Now I have more than you." Before he knew it, Tuck was in the store buying another box. Then Nip ran to buy another ball. Then Tuck bought a ball, and Nip bought a box. Ball, box, ball, box. Tuck, Nip, Nip, Tuck. On and on it went. Someone could have stopped the whole mess right there. In fact, that's what the mayor tried to do.
"You two are being silly," he said to Nip and Tuck. "Why? Who cares who has the most toys?"
"You're just jealous," they replied, "because you don't have any."
"Jealous of you? Ha!"
But within a few moments, the mayor was in the store buying an armful of boxes and balls. Other Wemmicks began to join in. The butcher, the baker, the cabinet maker, the doctor from up the street, and the dentist from down the street. Before long, every Wemmick wanted to be the one with the most balls and boxes. Some boxes were big, some boxes were bright, some balls were heavy, and some were light. Tall people carried them, small people carried them. Everybody carried them, and everybody thought the same thought. Good Wemmicks have a lot, not so good Wemmicks have little. When a Wemmick walked down the center of Wemmicksville with a stack of balls and boxes higher than his head, the people stopped. "Now there goes a good Wemmick," they would say. But when a Wemmick passed by with only 1 ball or 1 box, the others would shake their heads and think, maybe even whisper, "Poor Wemmick, poor Wemmick." Of course, Punchinello didn't want to be called a poor Wemmick, so he decided to get as many boxes and balls as he could. He searched through his closet and found 1 little ball. He dug into his pocket and found enough money for 1 small box.
"I know what I'll do," he declared. "I'll sell my books to get more money to buy more boxes and bowls."
So he did. He bought a blue and a green box with clouds painted on the sides, but still he wanted more.
"I'll work nights to get extra money,"
he told himself. So he did, and bought a ball, and since he was working nights, he didn't need his bed. So he decided,
I'll sell my bed.
and he did just that, to buy 2 more bowls. Soon Punchinello had an armful, but other Wemmicks had more. Some of them had so many boxes and balls they actually had trouble walking. "It's hard keeping up with all my balls and boxes," they would say, acting like they were complaining, but really they were bragging. Punchinello wanted to be like these Wemmicks, so he sold more stuff and he worked more hours. His eyes were tired from not getting any sleep. His arms were tired from carrying toys. He couldn't remember when he last sat down to rest, and worst of all, his friends couldn't remember when Punchinello last came to play. "We haven't seen you for a long time," his friend Lucia said to him one day. "Hey, why don't you come and play again?" asked his buddy Splint. Not everyone cared about boxes and balls. Punchinello's friends didn't, but Punchinello cared more about having boxes and balls than he cared about having friends.
I've got work to do,
he would tell them, and his friends would sigh. Punchinello didn't care. He only cared what the other box and ball people thought. And no matter what he did, he couldn't buy enough things to get their attention. Finally, he had an idea.
I will sell my house,
he decided. "That's crazy, Punchinello," cried Lucia. "Where will you live?" asked Splint. Punchinello didn't know, but he didn't care. All he could think about was the boxes and balls he could have with all